Alright, hello, my three new developers for Interminable Rooms. I'm going to teach you how to make a room type, or just like any room in general, because like these are a few very important steps you need to follow to ensure that they actually work when I put them in the game. So here we have what was originally called a two-locker room, which I stole from the old Section S. So very like as you can see, the floor is elongated. It doesn't. Oh crap! Hold on. No. Okay. Yes, the floor is elongated, and you can do whatever you want with it. Literally whatever you want with it. It can be super narrow, only as narrow as the door, and like, it can be super freaking wide and super long, and yeah. But like you can have it look like anything, but there are just like a few very important steps you need to follow. One is that you always need to make sure the door is like there, because yeah, obviously there needs to be a door. There always needs to be a label, otherwise there's going to be an error and it's going to break, because the room generation script tells the game to look in each current room for a label with a surface GUI inside of it called SG, and change it to the number of the room. So like these obviously are two very important things. And another reason you always need to remember the door is because it has the room generation fire script in it anyways. So alright, as like for everything else, like main important parts are the center, which is where every single room needs to have a center. Every single room needs to have a center part, because this is where the entity's moving script tells them to go. So like say A15 spawned in the lobby, A15's move script tells it to go to the center piece of the current room. So this is very important. As for center 278, I'm sure you can guess what that's for. It's where A278's portal opens up. Very important as well, because I don't want to have to go back behind you guys and like I don't want to have to go back behind you guys and fix all of this. So like just make sure all these are here. It's very, very important. And as for the end part, it always needs to be in the middle of the door and right behind the door, and also kind of like right here. You notice how the like part of it is in the floor, like right here. End part always needs to be there. And as for the start part, which is arguably the most important part of the entire room, because this right here is where the room starts at. So like the end part right here, as soon as the generation script fires, the room generation script tells the server to spawn the next room with the start part right in front of the end part. So I guess both are equally as important, then never mind. But yes, as for the start part's position, it needs to be right here, like right where it is along the floor, right? Or it can be somewhere else, like if you have stairs or something. Just like make sure it's right here. Like make sure it's like at a place where the room is spawning right, where a room spawning right in front of another room. Make sure that would make sense. Like think in your mind, is this logical? So you could hold on. You could have the start part anywhere on this width, besides like right at the edge, because there needs to be enough space for another door. So how I do that is I say I put it where I want it, say like right here, and I make a duplicate of the door and I pull it over here towards the edge, and I put it right here where the start part is, and I make sure that's in the center. Make sure there's enough space for like the door part to spawn right here, and then I just delete the duplicate door, and that's how I know that alright, that makes sense. Like that's a good place, that the room could spawn there. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Remember, always have the end part right here behind the door and in the center of it as well. Always have the start part where probably like aligned with the middle of the floor, and Like, you can make it downstairs and upstairs wherever you want. I want you guys to go crazy with this. Like, yeah. And then there's the center. You can have this wherever you want, really. Like, you can be creative with it. Don't like have it somewhere insane though. Like say all the way out here, because that wouldn't be good. Center 278. I recommend you have that like close to the ceiling, wherever your ceiling is. And then there's a label. You can customize this however you want to. Yeah. Alright, and with that, I made you guys a room developer pack right here, which is like all of our assets and stuff. Now, listen, this is very important. Obviously, you do not need to use these room types like for templates or whatever. You don't have to do that. I mean, of course, you still have to have all these very important parts we talked about that are invisible. But like you can customize all of these. Just make sure they still work when you customize them. So like with our A100 and X100 problem we had the other day that I ended up fixing, the problem was that inside of the rooms, the lockers, which are models themselves, right, were inside of other models which I used to make the lockers look better. A100 goes to the current room, he looks through the first children of the room he sees, and he goes, oh snap, there are no lockers in here, so now I'm just going to spawn camp until everyone leaves the game. That was a big problem. So make sure that these are always by themselves in a room. You can like still put parts around them, like stack stuff on top of them and stuff like I did, or like make walls around them to blend them in with the walls. I did that. And but your locker doesn't have to be in a model to do that, so make sure these are always by themselves. And yes, oh yes, as for the table, when you place them, you see these two invisible parts right here under the table. This is where the EPROMPT for the player to hide is, and this is the EPROMPT for the player to get out is. When the player presses E on it, he gets under there. Make sure the part that is the tallest, like right here in front of the table, make sure that part's always facing outward. Like when a player is going to hide, like make sure that part's always facing outward. Yes, same thing for all these tables. You get the gist of it. Yeah. V-rooms, it's the V-rooms, same rules. You don't have to use these, like you don't have to use any of this. Always make sure there's a label. Always make sure there's a door. And of course, make sure this part's right. Make sure the start part's right here, and the end part's behind the door. So for V rooms and E rooms, there's a center, but for V rooms there's no center 278, so that's not something you have to worry about when making V room. And yeah, that's like really all there is to it. E rooms, do whatever you want. You already know it's supposed to look grotesque and stuff, but like you don't have to do that and all. This is one of Room's accused stolen assets, which it is, by the way. But like, I never judged him for it, because like all I really wanted to do was just make the game. So, but yeah, he's gone now. I'm in charge. Hold on. I just noticed something new. I don't know what this is. Oh, yes. So for E rooms, obviously you gotta have an E42 right and E42 left. You know what the entity E42 is. This is like where it goes from. Right? So those parts are obviously very important too. Always have those for E room. Same rules. End part, start part, center, door, and label. You get it? So let's go over it one more time. For rooms, you need to have the center part. You need to have the center 278 part. End part always behind, and in the always behind, at the bottom of, and in the center line of the door. For the start part, always needs to be like a line kind of middle ways with the floor. And there always needs to be enough room for a door spot, because that's where the room will spawn. Alright. And yes, otherwise, like, oh yeah, always a door, always a label. And yeah, go crazy. I'm gonna figure out a way to send this to you real quick. You got it.